Hello everyone, welcome back. This is number 2 in the series, The Perfect Capsule Wardrobe for Spring. In the first video, I showed you how I like to get started planning out my capsule wardrobe. I showed you how I use Canva, which is a great way to help me pull all of my thoughts and ideas together into one place. And I even used Canva to create a handy checklist. If you missed that video, feel free to check it out. I think that you're gonna like it. So let's get started in making our first piece, which is my collarless coat. Hi everyone, I'm Letha with Ribbons and Zippers. Welcome back to my channel. On this channel, I show you tips and techniques on how to help you to make a better garment for all the occasions that you want to cherish. Now in this video, I'm going to get started drafting, and like I said, it's going to be a collarless coat. Now you're going to need some tools and supplies, so I want you to go ahead and grab these things. You may need a few more things along the way, but first you're going to definitely need to get started with some pattern paper, a pencil and erasers. Okay, make sure that you grab some markers, tape, see-through rulers, curved rulers, an L-shaped ruler. So I always use my L square. And don't forget your pattern notcher and some pattern weights. It's important that you get your pattern paper. This is my pattern paper. It's a whole roll. So you're going to need a lot of pattern paper. So make sure that you grab enough. All right. Now before I get started drafting, I want to tell you a little bit about the coat. While it is collarless, it is far from simple or basic. But it is going to be fun to sew because it's packed with so many tailored and beautifully done details that you will be very proud to say, I made this coat. I put some pockets in a few unsuspected places, and there are a lot of other details that I think that you're gonna like. We have a lot to do, so let's get started by placing our sleeve on our pattern paper. You are going to need plenty of pattern paper, so make sure that you have enough on hand. Now let's start by measuring out our paper. You're going to measure out 3 pieces that are about 28 inches long each. Now let's take a look at our sleeve sloper and make sure that it has these markings: the bicep line, elbow line, center line, the elbow notch, front and back notches, and the center notch. All right, so this is one piece of paper prepared. I have my bicep line coming down from the top 8.5 inches, my center line going all the way down the whole length of my paper, 28 inches. That's one. Okay, so now I have my 3 pieces of paper. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put 2 of them to the side for now. I'm going to grab my sloper and I'm going to make sure that my lines are perfect. So it needs to be exactly on the straight line, which is the center line, and it needs to match up with the bicep line. So here's my bicep line. So this is where you need to grab your weights. This is a straight one-piece sleeve. We take this and we're going to turn it into a 2-piece curved sleeve for tailoring. Okay, so I'm going to start at my top notch. When you get to your notches, make sure that you draw into your notch. So here's a notch right here. So we just want to draw into that notch. Do not forget your hem. Here's a notch. Over here is our back, our sleeve back. So we have 2 notches here. All right, so one thing that I like to do, even though I have my notches there, I still like to use my ruler and make sure that I have a straight line. You can even use your L square if you'd like. Okay, so once you do that, go ahead and remove your weights. Okay, so there you have it. Next step is to grab your paper scissors and cut this out. Carefully cut along the pencil line. Okay, so this is the back and this is the front. You know this is the back because it has the 2 notches. All right, so you want to label this back and front just so that you won't forget anything. Okay, so what I need to do next is I need to slash and spread. So I'm going to slash and spread along my elbow line, but I'm going to cut to but not through. So first let me go ahead and grab another piece of paper. Okay, so this is going to be my second piece of paper. All right, move some things out my way. So we're going to align our first draft along our second piece of paper, making sure that we match all the lines. So we want to match our straight line all the way down, and we want to match our bicep line, but we want to slash and spread our elbow line. So we're going to cut to but not through. Okay, so with my scissors I'm going to cut to the other side from the back along my elbow line. Okay, so you want to cut to but not through. And then you want to go ahead and grab your tape. You don't need really long pieces of tape, just a little bit of tape like that will do. You just need to hold everything in place. I have it perfectly aligned here. So I taped here, here, here. My bicep line is perfectly on the line. My straight line is here. So now it's very important that I have this straight. So now I have my bottom piece that I have to tape down. But first let me tape my top piece completely down. Okay, so now we need to have a distance for our elbow of 1 inch. So let me grab my ruler and I'm going to measure 1 inch from the top. So here's my top section, the back, and then my bottom section at the elbow is going to be 1 inch down. Grab a piece of tape and tape it. All right, so it's 1 inch, and then you can just go ahead and tape the bottom part. Now that I have it taped, I need to make some more markings. So I am going to make my elbow dark. So I need to measure the back part of my sleeve. So from my edge, my side seam, to my center, I'm going to measure. And I get 7 inches. So roughly 2 5/16 of an inch, and I'm going to make my marks a little darker so you can see. So from 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. So from 2/3 away from my seam is, this is the back of my sleeve. I measured 7 inches. I divided it by 3, and this is the 2/3 of that way. And I'm going to, I made a leg here. So now this is where I start here and I come down for my leg. So now we have to turn this into a dart leg. You need to create a real dart and then true these lines. I am going to fold up my bottom leg to meet my top leg. So take your paper, okay, and you're going to fold up. So you want to crease along your bottom line. So you're going to fold that line. You see how I'm folding it? And then I just want to move it up, okay? So move it up to that leg. And you're going to want to smooth it out. Hold on to that. Smooth it just like that. Okay? Okay, so that's not even anymore. So what I need to do is I need to even that out. Okay? So what do I have to do? I have to grab a ruler and I'm going to put my ruler here so I can create a nice straight line just to smooth this out. First you need to draw a line here. Now grab your pinwheel and you're going to follow that line. Okay. All right, so I created a dart. I just need to fill it in with my pencil. So here's my dart leg. Okay, so this is my dart for my elbow. Now we're up to our third piece of paper. So move everything out the way. And grab the third piece of paper. So paper number 3. Okay, so here is where I like to trim off some of my paper because we need to see our bicep line and we need to see the top line and the bottom line. So here is where I do some trimming. I don't want to make any mistakes when it comes to aligning my draft onto the bottom paper because I need to see where these lines are intersecting. All the lines need to match. So again, let's go back to matching our lines. We need our tape. Make sure it's smooth and tape it down. Okay, now here comes the fun part. You're going to take a pinwheel or a tracing wheel. I like to use a pinwheel because it makes really nice holes that I can follow. I don't want any mistakes. You're going to trace along your outline of your sleeve. And we're going to trace everything. We already have that line, but we need to trace this line. We need to trace our dart for our elbow. We need to trace all of our notches. Okay, we need to go ahead and trace everything. So make sure you get your new line here. Okay, the straight line is already there on the third piece of paper, so we want to definitely transfer our new line, our curved line here. It's not curved, this is just our new center line because the armhole is curved. Okay. Another thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you get your notches in there. Just mark where they are. You have another notch here. You have your elbow notch. Okay. You have your bottom notch. You have your top notch. Don't forget your elbow dart. Okay. All right, so you have all of that done. Once you have everything traced with your pinwheel or your tracing wheel, you can now take this off. So just remove the tape and you're going to have all of your markings on the other side. All right, and we're going to go over our markings with our ruler, a curved ruler, and our straight ruler. We want to make sure that we have everything perfect. Okay, so right now you can't see anything. You should be able to see everything that you marked with your pinwheel or your tracing wheel. All the markings are there. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pencil it in. Okay, so here you have it. This is just laying the foundation to create our two-piece sleeve. You need to be able to have a curved sleeve. This is what we call a fitted sleeve, okay? So we went from our straight sleeve, I traced it, I made my curve for my fitted sleeve. You can taper in your wrist as much as you want with the sleeve like this. But the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create my two-piece sleeve. So we're going to take this and we're going to create a two-piece sleeve. All right, I just want to show you something because this is based off of my arm, my bicep. So your sleeve wrist could be much narrower. So you could use a curve like this, because this really shouldn't be too much of a straight curve at the wrist. I mean, straight line. This really shouldn't be too much of a straight line at the wrist. It really should have like a somewhat of a curve. So a very slight curve. I couldn't use this curve because it's too short. So for me, I had to use something a lot longer, a lot stretched out, more of a curve that fits me. So I had to go ahead and use my hip ruler. The curve is nice and long, and so what I need to do is curve from my inner seam to the middle, and then curve back up. So I'm going to make a slight curve. It's very slight from the inner sleeve, the inner seam, to my to the edge, just like that. Let me come in so you can see. It's so slight. Okay, then I'm going to straighten it out here. That's fine. And then I'm going to flip it up. Okay, and make a curve from the sleeve to, okay, let me show you. So slight. So can you see that? All right, because you don't want your, you don't want the sleeve to be a sharp straight line, because you're gonna see what I mean when we get to making the other part. Okay guys, so now that you have your fitted sleeve pattern, and it's a curved sleeve, it's not the straight sleeve. In previous videos, I showed you how to do a sleeve sloper, and that was for a straight sleeve. This one is for a fitted sleeve. Now, the next step is to take this fitted sleeve and adjust it so that it fits a coat. Of course, you know you need more room in your shoulders, in your back, in your arms. Maybe you want to wear a sweater underneath your jacket or your coat. So that's why we need to make this sleeve a little bit wider. We want the sleeve cap to be higher, maybe a 1/2 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch, maybe even more room in the wrist area. So we're going to do that. We're going to change this pattern into a sleeve for a coat. All right, so that's it for today. Now you can take this draft and transfer it onto Oak Tag, and that will be your fitted sleeve sloper. Okay, so that's a great piece to add to your collection. And that's all that we're going to do for today. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and please don't forget to hit the bell, because this is just part 1 of drafting out our pattern for our coat. Next time is part 2, and it's going to be a lot of great information. So don't forget to hit the bell, and I'll see you in the next video.